Okay, welcome back again. It's actually the same day as my last video. Before I was diagnosed with AIH, I had a very high body mass index. So I was in category 3 obese, and I don't think I've ever publicly, where my friends and family could see it, I've never publicly stated my highest weight, but you know, I've kind of got to the point in my life where I was deluding myself if I thought that people didn't know I was obese. You could see it. So I'm just going to throw that number out there, and it's a number. So the highest known weight I had was 285 pounds, and I know I was higher than that. So that's about around 130 kilograms, or about 20 stone, 5 pounds, something like that. And I know I was heavier than that because I had just moved to Switzerland. I had lost weight because I knew I'd been following a diet and my clothes were looser, but I didn't own a scale. So by the time I got a scale, I knew I had lost weight because of my clothes, and I could see a small difference, and that was the weight that I first saw, which was 285 pounds. And so I estimate I was about, I only know in stone, about 21 stone. So it was a very high weight. I was a size 24 UK, so that would be 28 US. I then I joined Reddit, and I followed the Lose It subreddit, and I tried Weight Watchers and Slimmers World and everything. And then I joined Reddit, and it's free, and I joined the Lose It subreddit, and I downloaded MyFitnessPal, and I went to see a personal trainer, and I lost 30 kilograms. So my lowest weight was, I think, 196 pounds, which is about 14 stone, or 92 kilograms. And you know, my doctors were really happy, I was really happy, my friends you know, were really complimentary. I noticed an increase in my fitness, and then last year happened, so I fell off my bike, I hurt my leg, I almost died, I was getting worked up for transplant, and now I retain water. And I did a last video about managing it, and none of that's working anymore. I think I'll do another video showing you my legs in the morning compared to my legs in the evening, but I'm huge again. It's in around my legs, and I would say about half that is water and half that is a weight increase. I had regained 10 kilograms from being placed on the transplant list to my appointment in December, and they were obviously very concerned, and I'm very concerned. And it's difficult, and one of the things they know is that even people who have never been overweight, who are a very healthy BMI, who are athletic, after a liver transplant, a good number of people gain a huge amount of weight, and it's completely unmanageable, and they don't know why. Sometimes it could be the corticosteroids, sometimes it could be a reaction of the body. You know, you've been through a lot of trauma, it decides to hold weight in case there's more trauma. A lot of liver patients are malnourished by the time they get to transplant. They're very thin, and I think the body kind of, once it can start storing, I mean, this is just my interpretation, there's no scientific basis behind this. As far as I know, it's not known why, but to me it would make sense that your body's like been malnourished and then it holds on to everything. So they wanted me to meet with a bariatric surgeon, and I had no idea this is who I was meeting with. But he was lovely, and he talked me through the options. So weight loss surgery is not an option before transplant. If I were healthy and I wanted a weight loss surgery, I would be told no, because my BMI is 33, and you normally have to have a BMI about 40, so I would almost have to be back at my highest weight. I think my highest BMI was 45. They spoke about either doing a weight loss surgery after transplant, so I would have to go through the transplant, recover, have the weight loss surgery, recover again, and then maybe I could think about having a family. Or they could do a weight loss surgery, so it would be a vertical sleeve gastrectomy where they just remove part of your stomach. It's not the same as a band. Do not get a band, they're very dangerous. And it's not a bypass and nothing is rerouted, it's just your stomach is reduced in size. Obviously still traumatic. And they would do that in the same operation I had the transplant. So I would be called in for transplant. They would do the transplant procedure first, and then they would do the weight loss surgery in the same operation after. And obviously it would be not laparoscopic, so it would be, I would be fully open because I'd be open anyway. And then they would do that. But that is an option. There's obviously risks and issues, and I would be the first patient that this had happened to in Switzerland. So it's a lot to think about. And before I go, I just want to show you my body, because I think it's quite hard to tell what I look like just by my face. I'm not a small girl. This is my new little crop top. So yeah, so that's what I look like. Not huge, not like I used to be, and not small. But there is evidence that a lower weight can elongate the life of the transplanted organs. And I asked lots of questions to the bariatric surgeon. So for example, I asked how much additional time under anaesthesia, so it would be about another 2 hours. So the transplant itself is 4 to 6 hours, and the weight loss surgery would be 1 to 2 hours. So it would be up to 8 hours, but could be as little as sort of 5, 6. The biggest risk is leakage, and this is the biggest risk anyway of this procedure. So they have like a scissor staple, so they cut the stomach and it staples as it cuts. And if you want to see this in action, you can find these videos on YouTube. I would recommend that you're not a squeamish person to watch it. But yeah, it basically staples as it goes. And the issue that can happen is there can be a small hole in the staple line, and food or liquid can leak out of the stomach into the abdominal space. And this is a risk in normal people, but normally they would just go back in, repair the line, and then hopefully you would be fine. But for me, the option of going back in wouldn't really be there, because I will have had major surgery with the transplant. The transplanted liver would also be very vulnerable, so there would be such a high risk of infection. So what they would do to try and make sure that I didn't have this complication would be they would do the staple scissors, and then they would suture, so sew over the staple line. So you have the staples and stitching. And the staples are made of titanium, so they're titanium stitches, and then you would have like a stitch over the top, and then they would put in a drain as well, so any liquid that got out would be sent straight out of the system. So there would be like 2 safety nets. I also have a very low platelet count, so there's a higher risk of bleeding. There's a lot of things to go over. It's not a low risk procedure, and so it's a lot to think about. So they told me that they would get my consent up front. We would go through all the workup. A lot of the workup is the same as for transplants. They have a lot of the stuff they need, and anything additional we'll do over the coming months. I can withdraw my consent up until we go into theatre. As soon as I go under anaesthesia for the operation, obviously it's too late then. But I can withdraw my consent at any point up until I go in. So if I change my mind on the day and think, you know what, I feel so ill, I can't put my body through that, they won't do it. If there's any complications in the transplant itself, they won't do it. So they'll simply stop at the transplant, sew me back up, out I go. So that's everything. Have a nice day, have a nice evening. If there's any kind of videos you want to see, leave a comment. If there's something particularly you want to know about what I've been through, just ask. And I will hopefully see you all soon. Bye.